The Dragons of Blueland by Ruth Stiles Gannett. Chapter 5. Back to Nevergreen City. High, high over the desert flew the dragon, the hot wind stifling him, the hot sun parching his throat. He strained his eyes to see each object on the sands to make sure it wasn't a man. At last he was over a spiky mountain range. Panting for air and water, he circled down fast and plunged through the trees to a mountain brook. He had seen no one on the desert. "I'll rest here until dark," he thought, sticking his head right under the cooling, gurgling water. Then he lay down in the brook on his stomach, carefully keeping his gold-colored wings out of the water. As he dried off on a sunny rock, he listened for noises of men and dreamed of how he and Elmer would rescue his family. Once he heard children's voices, but a woman called them together, and they went off in the other direction. School picnic, he thought as he shook out his wings for the long, hard trip ahead. He wanted to reach Nevergreen City by morning without stopping. Up through the trees and over Seaweed City flew the dragon. He saw lights popping on suddenly along streets, in houses, but he didn't hear a little boy scream, "Mommy, come look at the dragon in the sky." It didn't matter. The little boy's mother only said, "Chester, I told you to stay in bed." So Chester was the only one to see the dragon, and nobody believed him until later, when the dragon affair had become famous. "As I remember, Elmer said he lived right across the street from a park," thought the dragon as he hurried on. "Yes, it was Evergreen Park, but what if I can't find him?" The wind beat back his tears as he raced over Seaweed Bay, over Mr. Wagon Wheel's farm, and the zigzagging brook. He thought he could see the road as the moon slipped in and out among the clouds. He flew to the coast of Popsicornia and followed it southward. Suddenly, he felt flooded in light. What happened? The moon? No. He looked down and saw a beam of light leaping up from a ship off the coast. He violently zigzagged up and down to one side and then to the other, trying to get rid of the light. Men were shouting on the ship. Into the beam, out again, flooded in light. Out of the beam, again he flew. He knew that the ship's searchlight had found him accidentally, but as it tried to follow his flight, he thought wildly, "How well can they see me? What do they think I am?" And then, as suddenly as the light had found him, it lost him. He sped on in the comforting darkness, his heart pounding hard with fright. As dawn began to break into the sky, he saw Nevergreen City Harbor, the lighthouse, and in the center of the city, a large green shape. Evergreen Park, he thought with relief, and he quietly glided down among the trees. No one had been on the streets to see him. Chapter 6. Elmer to the Rescue. Dawn brought Saturday to Nevergreen City, and as Elmer slept snugly in his comfortable bed, he was suddenly awakened by a damp, cold kiss on the cheek. "Wake up," insisted a voice. He opened his eyes and muttered, "It's Saturday, no school today." "Elmer, wake up," said the old alley cat, the same old alley cat that had told him all about the dragon and how to rescue him. "Elmer, we've got work to do. I just saw the dragon fly into the park. He must be in trouble. We'll have to hurry to find him. a hiding place before the city wakes up. The dragon? Why, he only just brought me home. Elmer jumped out of bed and into his clothes and tiptoed down the stairs with the cat following behind him. Silently, they crept out the front door, down the porch steps, and into Evergreen Park. "You look this way. I'll go down the other way," said the cat. Where could a dragon hide? Wondered Elmer, looking at the rows of trees along the walks, the scattered rocks, the pool, and then at the place where the city was going to build an amusement center. A big steam shovel sat idly on the spot marked out for foundations. Elmer liked steam shovels and was just thinking of exploring this one when the shovel jiggled a bit. The dragon! He climbed up quickly into the cab. "Elmer," whispered the baby dragon. "Oh, Elmer!" And the dragon burst into tears because he was so glad to see his friend. "The alley cat saw you fly into the park," explained Elmer, hugging the dragon around the neck. "But why have you come back? Are you in trouble?" "Terrible trouble," groaned the dragon, and he explained what had happened to his family. "You'll help me, won't you?" he pleaded. "Of course," said Elmer. "Let's think out a plan. I suppose we'll have to wait until dark to leave." "I suppose so," said the dragon sadly. "But you'll be able to rest right here," said the cat, who had found them by this time. "It's Saturday, and the men won't start today. I'll keep meddlers away. Meanwhile, let's work on the plan." The three friends discussed the problem all morning. Then Elmer went home for lunch. His mother was used to his long early morning walks, but she'd be suspicious if he didn't turn up for lunch. That afternoon, Elmer took all the money out of his tin bank and went to collect the things he would need. He bought 16 whistles of assorted tones, 16 horns of assorted tones, 1 cap pistol with caps, 1 ball heavy string, 6 large chocolate bars, 3 boxes fig Newtons. He found his very sharp jackknife and took a flashlight from the kitchen drawer. Then he carefully packed everything in his father's knapsack and went down to supper. He had $7.36 left over from the shopping. "Elmer, what have you been doing all day?" asked his mother. "I haven't seen hide nor hair of you except for lunch." "Oh, I've been over in the park looking at the place where they're going to build the amusement center," said Elmer, which was true in a way. At last the moment came to sneak out with his knapsack and join the dragon at the steam shovel. As he ran down the path, he saw the old alley cat waiting for him. "I'm sorry you can't come too," said Elmer, climbing onto the dragon's back. "So am I," said the cat sadly. "But I'm too old. I'm better off taking care of your mother and father. They do worry so. Well, goodbye. Good luck." "Goodbye," whispered Elmer and the dragon as they flew up into the air. Chapter 7. The Dragons of Blueland. "Tell me more about your family," said Elmer as the dragon flew over the harbor and northward along the coast of Popsicornia. "Do you all look alike?" "Oh, no, we've all got colored wings and red feet and horns, but my father is blue and my mother is yellow. All my sisters are green, ranging from yellow-green to blue-green. We boys are all both blue and yellow. I have wide stripes, but 2 brothers have narrow stripes. one with the stripes going the other way. One has yellow polka dots on blue and blue polka dots on yellow. One has a yellow head and body and one leg with 3 blue legs and tail. One is speckled blue and yellow like a bird's egg, and the last has patches of blue and yellow. How wonderful! You must look like an Easter parade when you're all out together. I guess we do, said the dragon, especially when Father has us doing our exercises. He's a great one for exercises. Exercises? Said Elmer. You know, standing on your head and somersaults and leapfrog and all that sort of thing. Of course, in the summer we spend most of our time mowing the meadows and tending to the flowers. Each one of us has a special part of Blueland to take care of. I wonder what's become of my piece. I suppose Mother has taken it over. I had the marshy part near the lakeside. That's why I'm so particularly fond of marsh marigolds and skunk cabbages. But what about in the wintertime? Asked Elmer, looking down at the line of waves breaking against the rocky shore in the moonlight. It must be very cold and snowy, and not much fun for exercising. Oh, we do our exercises summer and winter. Father sees to that, and of course, we have lots of fun sliding down the mountain slopes onto the frozen lake. But the winter is really fun because we sit in a circle in our cave and Father tells us scary stories about knights. It seems there used to be lots of knights who rode about just looking for dragons. They captured and killed most all of us, but a few escaped to Blueland. My father says his grandfather could remember the knights very well, with their heavy coats of armor, and lances, and swords, and helmets. Oh, sure, I've read about them in books, said Elmer. But those dragons were always fierce and about to eat up somebody. Nonsense, said the dragon. That's just what the knights liked to make people believe, so everybody would think they were very brave when they went dragon hunting. Dragons look fierce sometimes, but they're really very gentle. That's why they finally ran away to Blueland. They wanted to be left alone. And now more men have decided to bother us. Goodness knows what they'll do to us this time. If we only get back in time, we can't possibly make it before tomorrow evening. That will make it over 2 days since I left. Oh, we'll save your family all right, said Elmer hopefully. I can't wait to see them all. He snuggled up against the baby dragon's neck and dreamed of the rescue as they sped through the night toward the mountains of Blueland. Chapter 8. To Spiky Mountain Range. Where are we going to rest tomorrow? Asked Elmer, biting off a corner of a chocolate bar to help him stay awake. I'm trying to get all the way to Spiky Mountain Range, said the dragon. No more Mr. Wagon Wheel for me if I can help it. He's awful. A searchlight, interrupted Elmer, as a beam of light shot up from below, lighting up the dragon's gold-colored wings. It's that ship, Elmer. They saw me last night, too. Hold on tight. I'm going to try to dodge it, yelled the dragon, swooping, diving up and down, swerving from side to side. Elmer grabbed the dragon's neck and held on as hard as he could. He didn't dare open his eyes, but he could hear men shouting on the ship. Right, move it to the right, faster, faster. Left now. Hey, I think something's riding whatever it is. Looks like a boy, shouted another man. And then the moon slipped behind a cloud bank. The dragon escaped the beam of light and flew frantically through the darkness, while the light danced over the sky, still looking for them. "Good work," said Elmer, feeling very dizzy and quite sick. "But they saw us, both of us," moaned the dragon. "That's all right. They don't know where we're going, and we'll have your whole family rescued by the time they decide what we are," said Elmer, wondering if it would be wiser to finish eating his chocolate bar then or later. He was still feeling sickish. "I hope you're right," muttered the dragon doubtfully. On and on they flew, until at dawn they were over Seaweed Bay and due east lookout. The dragon swung westward over Seaweed City and landed in a forest on Spiky Mountain Range. He was so tired that he fell asleep before he had time for a drink of water. Elmer finished his chocolate bar, ate another, and a whole box of Fig Newtons. Then he drank from the mountain stream and curled up beside the sleeping dragon. Luckily, they didn't know who had seen them over Seaweed City. Ever since Mr. Wagon Wheel had glimpsed the dragon Thursday, he had been trying to persuade his neighbors that he really had seen a blue demon. No one believed a word of his story, but he had bothered the whole town so much that they told him to report it to the Seaweed City police. He had planned to go on Sunday, but changed his mind in the middle of Saturday night. He woke Mrs. Wagon Wheel. "You take care of the morning milking, and I'll be back in time for dinner. I'm taking the horse and wagon." "But," said Mrs. Wagon Wheel. "I'm off," said Mr. Wagon Wheel, and Mrs. Wagon Wheel heard the kitchen door slam behind him. So, at dawn, just as he was trotting through the outskirts of Seaweed City, Mr. Wagon Wheel looked up into the sky to see what sort of day it was going to be, and he nearly fell out of his seat. "The blue demon!" he screamed, "with a boy or something riding on its back." He looked around wildly for someone to show it to, but nobody was in sight. And by the time he reached the police station and had found someone to listen to him, Elmer and the dragon were safely hidden in the forest of Spiky Mountain Range.